We are rolling now, though. So, YouTube, this is Big Lou's table. I am Big Lou. I'm joined here by the Cut Man,
Casey.
And what did you decide your name was going to be?
Drunken Tits.
Drunken Tits? You sure you want to go with that?
Or not.
Okay. We're going to work on that and get back to you. But for this right now, luckily we can edit this out. So,
Hold for editing. And go.
all right. So, X-Men, Days of Future Past.
Indeed.
Very, very good movie. Just for the record, though, we are going to be talking about this movie as if you have already seen the movie. So,
Spoilers
spoiler alert.
included.
Yes, we're going to be talking about this from beginning to end, what we liked about the movie, what we didn't like about the movie, and everything in between.
I don't remember the movie.
Well, you had a little bit to drink that night, so... So, starting out, Cut Man.
I enjoyed it from start to finish. There was very little I did not enjoy about it. Everyone's performances from the previous cast to the new cast, I enjoyed how they brought them together.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that.
Just the other night I was watching a Star Trek rerun and just was reminded of how great an actor Patrick Stewart is. And when I was watching this, I was reminded even more. It just his ability to convey emotions is uncanny.
I could not agree with you more. What about you, Miss... are we really going to go with Drunken Tits?
I love Jennifer Lawrence. I think her performance was really good. And I love Patrick Stewart.
Jennifer Lawrence again, also.
Yeah.
I like how they centered the movie almost around her.
It was funny when you say that because the movie posters have Hugh Jackman and Jennifer Lawrence as the primary focal parts of the poster, and you would think that with her success of Hunger Games and the Oscar that she won and for Silver Links Playbook, and she's the it girl right now in Hollywood, and I kind of thought that they put her front and center on the movie poster because she is so popular, but no, the movie actually focuses on her and her actions as Mystique.
No, that's a pivotal part of the plot.
It really is. I mean, that's why he goes back to... For those of you that don't know, the premise of the movie is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine goes back in time to stop Mystique from killing the Dinkle. Peter Dinklage. How great was Peter Dinklage as Volor Trask?
I huge Game of Thrones fan, right? Okay, and Tyrion Lannister, one of my favorite characters of all time, but it's because of Peter Dinklage.
Yeah,
he's excellent.
He no pun intended here, but he has just such a huge presence on screen.
No doubt.
Even though he doesn't have a huge presence, if that makes sense.
That's correct. It's you can't not look at him. You cannot not pay attention to Peter Dinklage when he's doing whatever he's doing.
Exactly.
Whether it's him as Tyrion or him as
beating the crap out of Will Ferrell.
Beating the crap out of Will Ferrell. Say elf again one more time.
For those of you who haven't seen the movie Elf, do yourselves a favor and watch the movie Elf. It's one of the greatest Christmas movies ever. But yeah, and the thing that I loved most about Peter Dinklage's character in this movie is you could have cast anybody to play this role. It was not a dwarf role.
Sure.
It was not a role designed for someone who was a dwarf. It was designed for an actor, and he did such a great job of just being such a villain that... and you and I have talked about this a lot. My favorite types of villains are the villains that think they're the good guy.
Sure.
They're the most dangerous, and he does such a good job of convincing himself and those around him that what he's doing is going to save humanity.
Sure. It's funny, I read an article with him where he was saying that his dwarfism he feels as though he can connect to the X-Men because he has something that's different from the regular humanity, from regular people, and
a mutation, if you will.
A mutation. If you look closely. Mutation.
I have a blue eye and a green eye.
She has a blue and a green eye.
I could zoom in here if you want. Hang on, let's see if we can get a close up. Look at the lens, dear.
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
That just went way out of focus. But that's okay.
One blue, one green, both equally beautiful.
I'm a mutant.
But Peter Dinklage said he can relate to these people.
Yeah.
Because he's not necessarily an outcast of society, but he's definitely outside of the norm of society.
Sure.
And it's something that he was able to bring to the part, and he's just such a gifted actor, I think.
Talk a little bit about what went through your head when Mr. Hugh Jackman first woke up in the past and he was in that waterbed. A little hot and steamy there, a little bit.
A little verklempt.
Little Hugh Jackman.
I like the song that was played.
The song is the first thing that pops into your head?
Yeah, because it was playing.
Okay.
Because it's the same song that was played during all the animal commercials.
I was reading a little bit about the workout routine that Hugh Jackman goes through to prepare to be Wolverine.
That's intense.
I mean, the man's physique is just...
How old is Hugh Jackman at this point?
I want to say he's late 40s, easy.
That's...
I mean... I could be wrong.
We should all aspire to be Hugh Jackman in all aspects of our life.
All aspects of our Cutman and I have a list of celebrities that we hate just on general principle.
Not necessarily hate, but there's an anger that we're not like them.
Hugh Jackman's at the top of that list.
He is the start of the list.
Yes, he's incredibly good looking. He's funny. He's an incredibly talented actor. He can sing. He can dance.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, asshole. How dare he be a nice guy on top of all of that?
Douchebag.
Yeah, it's a list of people that we envy for their abundance of talent.
Yeah.
No people should be this talented.
And I love watching him in this movie as Wolverine, and to see where Wolverine has come over the 15 years almost that he's been playing the character. I mean, if you go, not even just the physical transformation, because every time he becomes Wolverine, he gets just bigger and bigger.
Sure.
But you go back and you watch the first X-Men, and Wolverine is a completely different character than he is in this movie. And
it's an evolution.
Wink, wink. I see what you did there.
I feel like all of the characters have just grown.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And Ian McKellen as Magneto. As good as he is, yeah.
Sorry.
Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, the dynamic that the two of them have on screen together is almost, I'd say it is even as good as the dynamic that Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen have.
Right, it's completely on par with the two of them. And that's why this is all just so seamless. It's all so believable because the two of them have this camaraderie. They have this compassion for each other, even though they have different goals.
They have such,
Magneto has this one goal and Professor has this other one, and but the two of them have this compassion and this camaraderie to each other, and they you can't help but stare at them on screen. And you can't help but understand. It's like if anyone has ever had a best friend, you understand exactly what they're going through. you understand that you have a different goal, but this is your best friend, and you have to have their back at some point, but then you have to like go off on your own.
When they were on the plane, and it's the conversation that a lot of X-Men fans have been wanting to see played out on screen for a long time, is that going on what you said about them having the same goal, but they're two sides of the same coin.
Sure.
In that Charles's perspective is we're all people, we should all get along, whereas
Sure.
Magneto's perspective is I'm going for our survival as mutants, the survival of mutants just in general.
It's very pragmatic.
Very pragmatic. That's the exact right word to use. But the conversation that when they're on the plane and Charles says, "You abandoned us," and Magneto just loses his shit and almost wrecks the plane, and is like, "No, Charles, you abandoned us," and he starts naming all the X-Men that had died in between the two films in the 10 years. His name's Banshee and Azazel and Angel and Emma Frost and.
Did he mention Emma? Because I don't remember. I remember thinking, does he say Emma? Because I don't remember hearing it.
Yeah. He says Emma's name. It's the last name that he.
Oh no, he says Emma, but I don't remember seeing her as part of the autopsy pictures.
I don't know. I know I saw Azazel's picture. I know I saw
Angel.
Angel?
Yeah, no, Angel was in there, but Emma.
I remember seeing Angel.
She was like, cut up.
Oh yeah, that Angel. No, you're right.
But I don't think Emma was in there.
No, I don't think her picture was there. They did have Kevin Bacon's character from First Class, the bad guy.
Smiling Jack Ross.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon, help me out in the comments section.
Generic Kevin Bacon character.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was the main bad guy who was just great.
Yeah, no, I can't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, anyway, I saw his picture there, and so just the anger and the hurt of losing all those people. We look at it from Charles' perspective because the story is pretty much told from Charles' perspective, both the first movie and this one to kind of a certain extent. But we finally see how much the loss of those characters has hurt Magneto too, and what drives him to take the course of action of basically throwing a football stadium at the White House at the end of the movie, which the special effects in this film were just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, where Hollywood has come, I should say, because I don't have anything to do with it.
You weren't part of the production?
I was.
They didn't call you?
They did not call me, which...
That's a voice they're missing, I think.
This is what I'm saying. So, what are some of the negatives about this film? What do you think they could have done better, or what are some glaring holes or something?
I do. There was one just nitpicky thing. Okay, if you haven't seen Wolverine, at the end of Wolverine, the
adamantium claws.
The adamantium claws get cut off of Wolverine, right? And his claws grow back. At the beginning of
his bone claws,
his bone claws grow back, but there's no adamantium on them. And adamantium, once you've cooled it, you can't reshape it, right? That's the problem with adamantium. There's a small animal.
It's my dog. We're not being invaded.
And so at the end of the Wolverine, the adamantium claws get cut off, the bones grow back, and so he's got the bones.
Yeah.
They never explain how, at the beginning of the new X-Men, how the adamantium claws are back. My assumption is it has something to do with Magneto being able to
manipulate the adamantium,
do some sort of Magneto welding, but they never mentioned it. They never say how the adamantium claws come back.
That's the only thing that I can think of, is that you're there with the Master of Metal. I mean, how else would he get them back unless they just ignore it completely?
Unless it was non-canon, but I don't think that it is. I think that it's part of the...
I'm pretty sure this is part of the cinematic universe that Fox is going for.
Well, that would be my one thing. That was...
Yeah.
If I had to stretch, but otherwise...
I didn't think of that.
What about some negatives that you have? What are some things about the film that you did not like, or you thought didn't make any sense?
I'm gonna go all girly on you.
Okay, no, it's fine.
Wolverine.
We need your perspective.
Wolverine did not take his shirt off.
Are you kidding? He woke up with no shirt on. That's what I was talking
But not
about.
long enough.
Not long enough?
Not long enough.
Seeing his tushy on screen was not enough for you?
Don't ever say tushy.
I forgot about
You
that.
forgot about the tushy? That's what I said. Didn't it make your heart go a little pitter-pat when he woke up? And you went right to, the song was playing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Drink your drink.
We might have had a beverage before. A little bit.
I wish there had been like a sex scene or something. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, it's...
Yes.
We're not being censored by the FCC
Okay,
here
so
or anything.
wait, a sex scene between who? Who would you like to see?
Wolverine and what's her name? Jean. Two of them.
Finally, the two of them getting together? That's what you're missing?
James Marsden's got to step in and be a douche.
Well, now that you bring that up, the cameos at the end of this movie, seeing everything put right, one of the coolest things, seeing Jean Grey there with the...
Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
James Marsden.
Yep. I mean, the 9 hours of makeup that Kelsey Grammer had to sit through to say, getting a late start this morning, Logan, in 3 seconds of film time.
Oh,
but
man.
it was so worth it.
So,
Yeah.
Fraser Crane as Beast.
I love Frasier. Can we please do one of these about Frasier?
We can do a Frasier after show. Look for it in coming soon to a YouTube channel near you.
I fully expect him to be like, getting a late start? Nuts!
I'm on the radio every day.
We're big Frasier fans. If you
Friends?
Frasier friends.
We're also Frasier fans. Friends, both of them.
They're on the Frasier family plan.
Yeah, leave that to the professional, buddy.
Yeah, I guess I should. We didn't talk about just the incredible performance of James McAvoy. And we talked a little bit about their interaction between him and Michael Fassbender, but James McAvoy as Professor Xavier was just... If he doesn't get nominated for something for his performance in this, it's a shame.
Well, let's not forget that most people in the cast have either been nominated for or have won Academy Awards or Golden Globes.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I mean, between James McAvoy, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Halle Berry, we're talking about
Jennifer Lawrence,
celebrated actors.
Jennifer Lawrence, Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean. If you can sit through his performance as Jean Valjean in Les Mis and not cry, you're a robot.
No, you're a communist.
You're like one of those sentinels that killed everybody at the end.
Yeah, no,
the action sequences. Go ahead. There's just so much good about this movie.
One of my favorite things about the Marvel Universe is that they get amazing actors. They get amazing actors and actresses to play these fantastical parts that humanize them. Yeah, and that's what brings you into it. You've got Robert Downey Jr., who's an accomplished actor playing this fantastical part as Iron Man, and that's part of the magic of Marvel.
Well, let's not kid ourselves here. Robert Downey Jr. is not acting. He is Tony Stark.
Okay, that may be a better example.
But yeah, I mean, granted, X-Men is Fox and Marvel and Iron Man is Marvel.
Sure, but it's still all part of the Marvel world. Yeah. Maybe not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, just the And they started that back when nobody had heard of Hugh Jackman.
Sure.
And only a small handful of people knew who Halle Berry was from the first X-Men. I mean, really, when the X-Men franchise started, you had the two big names, which were Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. And
can we call them big names? I mean, maybe Ian McKellen from
Lord of the Rings.
And Patrick Stewart from Star Trek, but that's kind of a niche.
I need to go back and look at the timing. I think the first X-Men came out before the first Lord of the Rings movie did.
That might have been the case.
I need to go back and
I know
look
him
at it.
from X-Men.
Most people do.
Yeah.
Most people of our generation do. I mean, he's been, a successful film and theater actor for, decades. But yeah, and the action in this movie, the fight scenes, were I mean, how cool was it watching the X-Men use their abilities to fight the Sentinels in that opening sequence? I mean, like you had Colossus and Blink Blink would open the portals and Colossus would go flying through and take out the guys, and Iceman doing his thing and Sunspot doing his thing, and fucking Bishop. Pardon my French there.
I don't think that's French.
Okay.
No, I took French.
Bilingual.
The utilization of the mutants in their abilities, the X-Men in the future, was just the most accurate that we've seen in a X-Men movie to date, I think. But yeah, I mean, on a whole, there's a lot more positive for us to say about this movie than negative, just because it was such a great movie. Very, very well done.
You're forgetting one part.
What's that? Oh, Quicksilver! How could we not talk about Quicksilver?
Thank you so much.
Yes. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we keep her around. Quicksilver. When I first saw the pictures of Quicksilver in costume, I just thought he looked like the dumbest thing I have ever seen. And I was like, really? With the silver jacket and the goggles? Really? Yeah. That's what they're going to do? Completely changed my mind.
Yeah.
He stole this movie. That one scene is probably my favorite scene in the movie, when he just runs around and just moves the bullets. Just everything standing still, and he stole the hat, tasting the soup. It was justice.
You will probably you need to look into this. Bryan Singer said that he filmed the Quicksilver scenes at something like 20,000 frames a second or something.
Holy crap.
So that it would run through like a can of film in just like an instant.
Yeah.
Because that's what Quicksilver moves at. So he would film all the rest of the background at that speed, and then film him moving at the normal speed,
and layer it on top of each other.
Layer it on top of each other. That way they can show accurately what he looks like when he's moving around.
Yeah, and I love the line that they acknowledge the fact that Quicksilver is Magneto's son. They're standing there in the elevator. He says, "So you control metal." My mom used to know a guy that could do that. I saw it at a noon showing, and there was not a whole lot of people in the theater, and I was the only one that laughed at that line. Obviously, when we saw it together last night for the second time, more people in the theater.
Oh no! The first time I saw it was at a 11:30 showing on a Friday, and I was the only person to laugh at it, and I'm like, come on, nobody
Bueller.
Well, I didn't know that until you explained it.
Well, I mean, and that's okay.
I mean, most people don't. I mean, the only reason I know it is because I read it online. I didn't read the comics, but I read a lot online, and I'm a huge fan of the cartoons and the TV shows and the whole thing, so
We accept you.
That's my confession.
You don't read the comics either. What are you talking about?
I love comics.
Okay. Well, I did know that because I am uber geek when it comes to comics and stuff. I've been reading them my whole life. But
I've seen every episode of Star Trek that has ever been made.
Lean back, Matthew.
He's got the shirt to prove it. And I love how he just got all serious on us about
just to clarify my nerdiness.
Shit just got real.
I also cannot see without these, so let's not kid ourselves.
Good thing there's no tape there.
I don't have my glasses on.
She actually requires glasses that look very similar to these.
I'm empty.
I'm getting close to there, so we need to wrap this up.
Okay, final thoughts and a rating out of 10.
9.
9? You give it a 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the best X-Men film I've ever seen.
I very much agree with you on that.
I don't know if it's.
I feel like they just keep getting better and better. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
They don't get worse. They just get better.
Between the combining of the two casts, it was just. Yeah.
Bryan Singer has fully redeemed himself, in my opinion, for the past couple of movies that he's done. I mean, while Superman Returns was a pretty good film, it was very boring for a superhero movie.
And we can do an entire conversation on this.
Yeah, look for that one online coming soon. Yeah. For me, I give this movie a 10. I just thought it was that good. The couple of negative things I have about this movie are very, very nitpicky.
Sure.
I think that the opening exposition about why they're sending him back in time was rushed just a little bit, but that, I mean, again, just very, very nitpicking. There's a lot of information to throw at you in the first opening sequences of the movie, but once you get into the flow of the actual first act of the movie, outstanding.
Yeah. That's the best word to describe.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I give it a 10. You give it a 9.
Well, I don't believe in ratings.
Oh, just pick a number.
It's not important. It's not important.
I give it a 9 because I'm very picky and I just can't give a movie a 10.
I have only given a very select few movies 10s. The Avengers, I thought, got a 10 just because of what it was. The Dark Knight got a 10 just because of what it was.
We could do a whole thing on the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Can we please?
Well, anyway, folks, that's going to wrap it up for us. Look for some more videos online. Let us know what your thoughts are on X-Men Days of Future Past in the comments below. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to see us get drunk and talk about, leave them in the comments below.
Cheers.
And we'll talk at you next time. Everyone say bye.
Bye. Thanks, Mom.